Hello, sunshines. Happy 5th of July, 2022. This is a Tuesday, and this is episode 24 of BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host, Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. And I am walking to downtown. I have some packages that I want to mail out, so that is priority number one. And the post office is on like the extreme far side of downtown, which luckily downtown is only, 10 blocks or something. So I'm gonna go there first, but then I was thinking maybe I would take myself on a little afternoon date downtown. I don't know for sure, but it seems likely that I might stop at the bakery, maybe go to the coffee shop. I needed to get out of the house, and I thought about riding my bike to downtown, but I think I need a longer trip than taking my bike. So I am walking. I am walking and knitting on this sock, which is through the gusset. I did the gusset at the movies on Sunday, so now I'm just working my way down the foot. So now my goal is to finish this sock by the time summer school starts next week so that I can have a fresh sock for summer school knitting. It'll be the second one, but it'll be fresh. I don't know if you could see the cover of this book while I was in the coffee shop. I'm not sure. But I started reading The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. I started reading this on Sunday, but I didn't get very far. I think I got through the first 40 pages on Sunday and another 40 yesterday. Yes, today is Tuesday. It's so hard to keep track of days already. It's okay, Thursday I go back to work, so it'll be less confusing. It's because yesterday was the 4th of July and it threw everything off. I didn't have class. The garbage pickup this week is shifted by a day. Okay, anyway, back to this. So I started reading The Gilded Ones, and it is due back to the library tomorrow, which is why I started reading it on Sunday, because I was like, uh-oh, I only have 4 days. Can I read this in 4 days? I don't know. So it's probably like 3 p.m. on Tuesday, and I am on page 131. So my game plan is to read a chapter after every other thing that I do. So like I reorganized a cabinet in the kitchen. Now I'm gonna read a chapter, then I'm gonna go wash the dishes, then I'm gonna read a chapter, then I'm gonna do some knitting, and then I'm gonna read a chapter. I might read and knit at the same time, actually, but I'm gonna see if I can finish this by 6 p.m. tomorrow, because that is when I would need to be done in order to get the car back to Patrick if I were reading this at the library, which I might do. If I can get enough stuff done this evening and tomorrow morning, then I might spend the afternoon there reading. but there are 415 pages, I want to say. 413. So I don't know. I don't know if I can read that many pages in about 27 hours, especially because somewhere in there I have to sleep. But I don't actually have to do anything else. Like, everything that I do right now is just stuff that I'm like, oh, it would be good if I did this, but nothing like pressing or urgent. So wish me luck. Hello, sunshines. It's Wednesday, just afternoon, and I am at the library because I am going to finish my book here. I have about 45 pages to go, but I just got to the library and I'm sad. I'm looking out on the field. At the side of the library parking lot, there's the library is really close to the community center, and in between the library and community center there's like, I don't actually know what those buildings are. I mean, one of the buildings is a bathroom that they only open for like community days and stuff, but there's another building that I don't actually know what it's for. But they are setting up for a community day, and they have like bouncy houses and stuff set up. And if my kids were here, we would be going to that. So that's a bummer, but okay, I'm gonna go read, and then I'm gonna go send a package to my kiddos because my oldest left their workbook and my youngest left her journal. So I'm gonna go read and then run to the post office. Also, I'm feeling like eco guilt because I drove my car here. However, I am not feeling that bad because, okay, so the library on our normal route is the same distance from home as my work, which is totally bikeable. But right now, one of the roads is under construction, so I have to go a little more than a mile out of my way. And like, that's far anyway. That makes it kind of a far bike ride, but about half of that last mile doesn't have sidewalks. And there's curves on the road, and I'm just not comfortable riding a bike on that. So, feeling some eco guilt, but whatever, it's fine. And I'm gonna do a few errands, so it's not like I'm leaving the house just to go to the library. All right, I'm going in now. Hello friends, it is Thursday and I just wore this shirt to work. It was PD day at school and I love this shirt. It is not hyperbole to say that during the school year I wore this shirt once a week because I absolutely did. I love this shirt, and I went to the bathroom and look at this. I have a hole in the armpit-ish area, but not on the seam of this t-shirt. So it's fine. This t-shirt has already, you can see it's already been edited. It had some holes in the back under the collar at one point. So I cut out the back and did this little T thing on it, and then there was another little hole, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, that I covered with, I made a little patch. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. The hole is right there by this. So I made a little patch and I made it a little Totoro guy with a bag. So This shirt has already been edited. And when did I do that? I did that in 2020, the summertime, at some point. I know because while we were off school and stuff, I edited the collars on a lot of my shirts because they were too tight to my neck and I didn't like them. So I am going to change this t-shirt into a tank top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut basically along this seam line and then turn this under and do the same sort of running stitch as I did up here. And this thread is not quite white. It's a tiny bit blue leaning, but I think it'll be okay. I don't have any true white thread, but I'm going to work on this today, this evening. All right, friends, it is, I don't know, sometime later, a couple hours maybe. And I have hemmed this side completely. And I'm about a third of the way through hemming this side, but I'm done for the night. I just don't want to anymore. So I tried it on, yes, with the needles sticking right there, and it'll be good. My bra straps show, but my bra doesn't show, so it's good. It's fine. I am going to take myself downstairs to read. I'm tired. Today was PD day at school for summer school, so yeah, it was a long day. I mean, compared to, not working, 7.5 hours was long, plus I stayed for an event that they were having for families, so yeah, I'm peopled out and don't really want to craft. I kind of just want to curl up and read a book, so I'm gonna do that. Hello, sunshines. Happy Saturday, the something of July. 10th, 9th, 11th. I don't know. I don't know what day of the week it is. I mean, I do know what day of the week it is. I don't know what date it is. I know the day of the week because I'm at work at the shop. So how are you? I am having a rough day, if I'm being completely honest. It started last night. I was just feeling super lonely. So lonely. It's nice that my house is kind of quiet and I have brain space for things, but I don't know what to do with myself without the kids for this length of time. So yeah, I'm feeling lonely today. And even when Patrick got home from work this morning, I was just in a grump and I didn't want to talk about it, and I just, yeah. So that's how I'm feeling today. Very lonely. And also I can't get this conversation out of my head that I overheard when I was at the library earlier this week. So someone at the library was talking to someone else at the library, and the first person is pregnant, and they might have to switch doctors because they might have an ectopic pregnancy, and they're having an ultrasound this week, and just talking about how stressful and awful it is to have to maybe change doctors because the doctor that she's with works in a very, very Catholic county, so the only cure for an ectopic pregnancy is an abortion. And with Roe v. Wade overturned, even though abortion is still legal in Michigan, yeah, she might have to get a new doctor if she has an ectopic pregnancy, which is just horrible. Just horrible. So like that's been stressing me out all week. Like an ectopic pregnancy isn't even viable. In no situation is it viable. It's literally just a death sentence for the fetus and for the mom if left untreated. Anyway, knitting wise, I feel like I haven't done a lot. If I'm honest, I'm a little bit floundering. Now that I've finished my best friend's blanket, like none of the other blankets have a deadline and they're all kind of ephemeral is not the right word, but like that's how it feels like they are right now. So I don't know, I need to focus on a blanket. But my boyfriend's blanket is super close to done. It just happens to be the blanket where I put the leftovers that I no longer want. So like if the leftovers went through all of the blankets that I have and now I don't want it, it would go into that blanket. So basically I just need to work on the other blankets more so I can finish that one. I did finish the first sock in this pair right here. So this is opal yarn. My friend Haley gave it to me. I was talking about wanting to have it for school knitting, and I did knit on it a bit at school PD, and then I finished the whole first sock. So here's the second sock, and I took it to the movies and I did fine, but somewhere in the ribbing I picked up a stitch or missed a stitch or something, so it's a little twisted in the ribbing. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it. Yeah, whatever. They're for my boyfriend who doesn't care and won't notice, and I was knitting in the dark and I did the best that I could when I messed up on the ribbing. If it was for someone else, I would have just been like, oh well, I'll just not knit through the rest of the movie. But since it's for my boyfriend, it doesn't matter. Or I would have continued to knit but just ripped it out after and recast on. But Patrick won't care, so yeah, here's the second sock, and I'm just gonna work on it at school this coming week. I also worked on at the movies this. I worked on this before I worked on the sock, but then I ran out of yarn. So I worked on this because it's just stockinette in the round. I have to pull out the purple yarn and attach it. Although I'm kind of thinking I might rip out the one that I just made last week, because after using it, I'm not really thrilled with how it's working. So I'll probably actually start ripping that out and knitting it into this, and then start a third one similar to this, same construction. With a triangle at a top. I decided I was going to use elastic on this one and see how I liked it for the button closure. So I didn't do the I-cord start, but I did start it with the triangle, work half of my stitches, and then pick up the other half. Or not pick up, cast on the other half and start working in the round. So I'm going to do that with the other one that I just finished last week. But yeah, I did work on this, and maybe I will put the yarn on the start pulling out for this. Oh, words. Sorry. Yeah, like I said, I'm not feeling super great, like mental health wise today, but it's fine. Tomorrow we're gonna go hang out with my best friend who I haven't seen in months. It's gonna be me and my boyfriend and her boyfriend. We're gonna get brunch together, so I need a project for that. So I'll probably take the cozy, and I also started the second sock for my nephew. This is Barocco Socks, and I finished the first one a while ago. I don't know, some weeks ago. I think back when school was still on, And so that's the first one, and it has all of these markers for every repeat, just so that it would be really easy to know how many repeats I needed to do on the second sock. So I'll probably take that too, just in case I want something that's not quite so vanilla. And yeah, that doesn't really have a deadline either. I mean, it does Christmas, so I don't know, feeling a little bit of ennui with everything. Summer is really hard. I feel like I've talked about this. I'm pretty sure I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Summer is really hard for me because summer break was never like a really great time for me. So even though my summer break is not what it was when I was a kid, and I'm not in the same circumstances, it's still like I have residual feelings about summer. And then the last thing, this is actually really exciting. I picked up the Skyshard Cowl that I started, I think it was a crochet along in May or April, I don't remember, but it's Mosaic crochet, and I really liked working on it, but I just didn't have the headspace for it. So I do have the headspace now. Look at that. I worked at least 2 rounds a day this week on it. This is the seam, so that's not very pretty, but this is where I was when I picked it up. So I am officially 2/3 of the way through this cowl. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that's so pretty. I don't know what the yarns are because they are scraps that were given to me from my friend Josh, and they are, the ombre effect is not lighting. That's actually different yarns. So it goes from like a black to a charcoal for this contrast color, and now it's kind of this like olivey green color. All the yarns are single plies, so I'm just using up these scrappy bits. Isn't it pretty? So just one more repeat to go. So this right here is the repeat. So I'm super close to finished with that. I'm hoping that I can finish it this week and then be able to really easily block it, because it's summer and everything dries really fast in summer. Oh, speaking of blocking things, I finished that blanket last week and then I didn't show it to you. I'll put in some footage. I think I said that last week too, and then I didn't, but I have it here because I left it here to dry after blocking, so I will show that to you. Ba-da-ba-da! Isn't it cute? All finished. I'm so excited. So I will put measurements on the screen, and how many, let's figure out how many squares are in this. 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, that's 800, no, stop. 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So 900 mitered squares in this blanket, plus those sashings, and you see the square right here. Its orientation is a mistake. Whoops. I didn't notice the whole time I was attaching it that it was wrong until I was working on these squares over here. This was the last section that I finished knitting squares on, and I picked it up and I was like, wait a second, that's not what I intended. So it's fine. It is what it is. I don't hate it. It'll be okay. So anyway, that's my best friend's blanket. Isn't it awesome? The other thing that I plan on doing crafty wise this week is, do you remember this sweater? It's the one that I knit in like, I don't know, a month in 2020 in the summer. I knit it and it doesn't fit the way I want it to fit. Like, it's okay, but it's a little bit too much positive ease and it's not long enough. So I am going to, do I need to rip out the sleeves? I don't know. I'm going to try it on because I haven't tried it on in a long time. And then I'm going to make a decision over whether or not I'm going to reknit the entire sweater or if I'm just going to rip back to here where the sleeves split and do something. I don't know. We'll see. I have to try that on. All right, friends. So here is the sweater. And the only thing that I like the fit on is the sleeves. The neckline is just a little bit or a lot of bit looser than I want it to be, and like this is way too much ease, and I want it to be like 2 to 3 inches longer. See if it fit like this with a little more length. How cute would that be? And this all a little bit tighter. So I don't know. I want to just cut off the sleeves and save them and graft them back on, or rip out the entire thing, because I do really like the length of the sleeves and the fit of the sleeves. And if I just cut them off and graft them like this, all of this fabric here, I would have to make up for, I don't know, it's way too big all through this part of the sweater. So I'm going to start unraveling from the bottom of the sweater, and then I will decide if I want to take out the sleeves also, or if I just want to like take out wherever the row is up here, like just pick that out and put these on holders and regraft them later. I also need to go back and watch videos from that time to figure out what needles I used. I think it was a size 8, and what size I made, I think a size like, I don't know, 40? Am I making that up? I have no idea. So I have to go back and check. But I'm gonna take this off now because it is hot in here. You hear the air on? That's because I need it. But my plan is to rip out whatever I'm gonna rip out this weekend and either recast on or put it back on the needles and work that. Reading wise, I finished the Gilded ones. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. If you like fantasy young adult books with like diverse cast of characters, I mean, there's not a diverse cast gender wise, but like race wise and background wise there is, so that's pretty cool. I really like that. I really enjoyed that. And there wasn't like, romance wasn't a big part of the novel. I really thought at like 2/3 of the way through that there wasn't going to be a love story, and I was kind of excited for it. And then like 10 pages later, I was like, oh, okay, well, this is gonna be a thing. Okay. But there was this one part, this is kind of a spoiler, so it's not really a spoiler. There's this one part where she's like having an inner monologue thing, and she's talking about like, yeah, it's really nice to have this guy who she likes, but she also knows that her best friend has always got her back, and like her best friend comes first. And I was like, yes, yes, that is the energy that I want to see in more young adult books. Like, I could have lived without the romance completely in this story. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was needed. I think it could have just been like some girls being kick butt and amazing and didn't need a romance thing, but whatever, it was there, so it was fine, and it didn't take up a lot of the space. So I loved the like best friend relationship, because I personally feel this is, I will fight hard on a hill, on a field for this. I will fight hard for, we need to teach young people, especially young women, that romance is not the only relationship that's meaningful. Romance is not the only relationship that is meaningful. It's just not. There are so many other ways to be fulfilled in relationships than romance. And I loved that there was that moment in the book. Like, I was sitting by myself and read it, and I was like, closed my book, and I was like, yes, that is so true. I turned to my dog and I was like, Molly, let me read this to you. This is so good. And she listened and she was like, yeah, that's totally what we need to be telling young girls. And I'm still reading Sea State, but I don't know what I expected it to be, but it's not what it is. What I expected it to be was more of stories of people who work on oil rigs, and what it is, at least for, I don't know, I'm probably on page like 60. What it is the person who is writing the book, it's a memoir, and she's telling about being the mistress for a guy who works on an oil rig. So yeah, I don't know. And it's not getting very far, and I haven't read Genji all week. I'm just not in that headspace, so we'll try again next week with Genji. I have been reading this. This is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, and it's a romance, kind of. I mean, it's like, it's romance, that's what it says, but, and like, there's definitely, it's dark romance. It's about this girl, Erica, but everyone calls her Rika, and the book opens and she's like dating this guy, but she doesn't want to be dating him. Like, he thinks he owns her, and like his family basically does own her, not in a weird, I guess it's not weird, not in like a enslaved way, but like in a, they grew up in a small, very wealthy community, and his family has helped take care of her since her father's death. Like, she lives with her mom, but they're the next door neighbors. Erica has been in love with the older brother Michael for like ever, and like their families, wow, how many times can I say, like, have known each other since forever. Michael held her when she was an infant in the hospital, and she's the same age as the younger brother Trevor, which is why the family keeps like trying to push Trevor and Erica together. But anyway, the whole thing is super dark. So Michael has 3 best friends, and the 4 of them are known as the 4 horsemen in their town, and every Devil's Night, which is October 30th, they pull pranks that are not pranks, that are like safely dangerous, kind of. Like, they set a crack house on fire after they make sure nobody's in it. So yeah. And 3 years ago, they took Erica with them on their jaunt, and like everything went well until it didn't. And the story is told in present, and 3 years ago. It switches off not quite every chapter, but pretty much. So I don't know what happened, although I do know that the friends all went to prison for 2 to 3 years for whatever happened on that night, and all of them blame Erica for them going to prison. But I feel like we're gonna find out that it wasn't really her fault. That's just the way the story feels. So yeah, basically her like lust interest and his friends are trying to destroy her life. Like, literally destroy her life. Not kill her, just make her wish she was dead. Well, but she doesn't know this, and so she's like pursuing this relationship with Michael. It's so toxic, and like, so gross, but I can't stop reading it. Like, it's like binge watching a reality TV show that you know is trash, and you know, like, this shouldn't be entertainment, but you just can't stop. That's how I feel about this book. So I'm gonna finish it. It's the first book in a series. Do I know if I'm going to read the series? I don't know, because, like, what they're doing is horrific. What they're doing to this girl is horrific. She's 19. Did I say that? She's 19. They're 23, 24, 22, somewhere in there. Yeah. But I just can't stop reading it. So, I'm pretty sure that I picked it up because someone on Bookstagram like had it on a list of books and had a quote from it, and I was like, oh, based on that one quote, this could be something that I want to read. If I had like read any sort of summary, would I have picked it up? No. And also, I wouldn't have picked it up based on the cover either, or the title, but I'm sure there was a quote. I don't say that I wouldn't recommend this book, but like trigger warnings all over the place. Like attempted sexual assault, violence against women, coarse language. And what other? There's drinking, heavy drinking, arson, robbery. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that happens in this book. But something that I am enjoying, like, without qualms, is that there's a playlist, a music playlist, and it has, I haven't been able to get the Spotify playlist to work, so I haven't been able to listen to it, but it's got a lot of songs that I really like on the playlist, like Bodies by Drowning Pool and Devil and I by Slipknot. Like, those were some of my favorite songs in high school. And Devil's Night by Motionless in White was like one of my favorite songs in college-ish. Dirty Diana is on here. It's by Shaman's Harvest, not the Michael Jackson version, but it's the same like vibe and feel. Fire Breather by Laurel. I'd never heard that song before, but I listened to it and I really like it. And yeah, just there's, who else is on here? Papa Roach, Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, Thousand Foot Crutch, Skillet, Disturbed. So many artists who I listen to and don't ever see their names in print. So yeah, that's kind of enjoyable for me. Honestly, if someone was like, do you want to go see Motionless in White in concert today? I'd be like, yes, please, let's go. Like, I don't have any plans, let's go. I would probably change because I would not go in my normal, regular, everyday appearance to a Motionless in White concert, but I think they might be my favorite band right now. I think that might be who's my favorite band. So that was a really nice surprise when I started reading the book and like found those types of artists mentioned. All right, friends, so that is all of the talking that I'm gonna have for you this week. I'm sure there will be clips or something from tomorrow from going out to brunch. I'm so excited to see my best friend. It's been so long, but I will talk to you in about a week. Bye for now.